Welcome to episode 3.14 of the Living to Thrive with Cancer podcast. I am Catherine White, a colon cancer thriver, and the host of this podcast that is designed for you, the cancer survivor who is looking for more in your life. Today, we are talking about yoga and cancer. One of the most common comments I hear when I talk about bringing yoga into your life when you have cancer is, I don't do yoga, I'm not flexible. But today I want to challenge your ability to be flexible about this topic and invite you to explore how it can truly be part of changing your life when you have cancer. We're going to take a look at the questions, what is yoga, what is body, mind, and spirit as related to yoga, and how can yoga support you when you have cancer? If you are a new listener, I want to welcome you to the podcast. You have landed here for a reason that you may not be aware of yet, but I am confident that you will figure it out. If you find what you have learned here today to be helpful, please share this with other people that you know that could use this and benefit from this episode. Sharing helps me to support more people living with cancer and to help them to move from survivor to thriver. And if you want to go ahead and give me a follow on Instagram or here on YouTube, I would love to have you as part of my community. You can find me at Catherine White Wellness. Give me a follow and then take a screenshot and send it to me in a message or a DM, and I'll send you a free copy of my guide to managing cancer in everyday life. And again, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can just give me a follow below. So I want to start with just sharing that when I was going through my cancer treatments back in 2015, nobody talked to me about how to care for myself or my body or support my healing. I was afraid to do research because I was afraid that I would accidentally bump into something that I didn't want to uncover, that I didn't want to know. So I just did what I was told and followed the medical plan that was laid out for me. In hindsight, I know now that there was so much more I could have been doing, and yoga was one of those things. I had been going to yoga classes prior to cancer, but they were more like power workout type classes, more for exercise than for the aspects of yoga that I'm going to share with you today. So when cancer landed in my world and I got tired and weak from surgeries and treatments, the intense classes, and in fact all classes, stopped. And part of that was because of compromised immune system, and I didn't want to be in a space that was tight with other people. So I really was just doing everything I could in what I knew to take care of myself, and wish again in hindsight that I had started a yoga practice while I had cancer. It wasn't until 2018 when I shared with my niece that I felt like my soul was empty and broken, that yoga came into my life in a whole different way. My niece recommended that I take yoga teacher training because that was where she felt I would find peace and healing. So I signed up and decided to give it a try, and it was the best decision that I've ever made. Over 8 months of training, I learned that yoga was so much more than a physical practice. In fact, when I was in my training, I was told that I had a metastases in my right lung and that I would have to have my 4th surgery. And I was devastated. This was not news that I wanted to hear, but this time I was able to face the diagnosis differently. This time, I had tools and strategies that came from what I was learning in yoga about yoga being a lifestyle, not just exercise. And this is what I want to share with you in this episode and what I share with my clients in my cancer coaching practice. So what is yoga? Yoga is a holistic practice that originated in ancient India. It dates back thousands of years, and it encompasses physical postures, breathing techniques, meditation, and ethical principles aimed at promoting overall health and well-being. Now, the word yoga itself actually means to yoke or to unite, and this is part of reflecting its goal of bringing together and harmonizing the body and the mind and the spirit. Yoga is considered by some to be an opportunity to learn more about yourself and to be curious about being in and with yourself. So what this means is it is an opportunity to explore who you are and what you're capable of as a person. And despite what we've come to see yoga as in the West, which really we see it as a form of exercise for the body, yoga is really a practice for the connection to the self. So yoga in the West is this billion-dollar industry that's mostly focused on the physical classes, and there's so many products that are sold around clothing and equipment and vacations. But if you bring yoga back to its essence, it's about the body and the mind and the spirit. And so looking at yoga in relation to cancer, I want to offer that it is so much more than the poses and the physical practice. Yoga, in my opinion, is perfectly suited to be a part of healing from cancer. So the body and the mind and the spirit are part of the holistic work that I do as a cancer coach, and it really comes from what I learned in my yoga teacher training. Because we are so engaged in our treatment and our healing in the body when we receive a diagnosis, the physical body is typically the first place that the person will go to consider about what can I do? How can I support myself? Is there anything I can even do? It's a real physical thought process because we are having this experience in the body, but it's actually so much more than that. So maybe you want to know, like, what can I do to support my body to get better? And there's two aspects when we think about the body, and it's about what you eat and how you move. And both are really important and relate to yoga, but for the purposes of this episode, I'm just going to focus on movement. Moving your body is an important part of healing. I want to say that again. Moving your body is an important part of healing. Often cancer patients are told to rest and sit and not exert themselves too much. I remember when I was going through my treatments, I was going through a good spell where I was feeling like I could do things. And I decided to go out for a run one day because I had been a marathoner and I wanted to continue to work on my running and to just really get out of the house. I just needed to get off of the couch. So I put on my running clothes and I strapped on my shoes and I was ready to go, walked out to the end of the driveway. And I think I had run maybe 100 meters and some friends were driving by and they stopped their car, literally got out and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm going for a run." And they were like, no, you need to go back home. You should not be running. You need to be resting. I was like, "But I feel good." And they're like, "No, you need to go home and you need to rest." Needless to say, because I'm a little bit stubborn, I continued with my very slow pace, probably mostly walking run, and it felt good. But this is the misconception around people having cancer and movement. It is actually good for you to move your body. And rest is important. Studies have shown that after a diagnosis, treatment, though, is better managed with physical activity and exercise. They need to be part of your medical management plan. So rest when you need to and move when you feel like you can. Having a yoga practice is also linked to lower frequency or severity of symptoms and side effects that are common among people with cancer, especially like anxiety or depression, fatigue, sleep disruption, stress, and distress, that emotional distress that comes with it. So again, when your body is tired, it's good to rest, but there are so many other reasons why you actually need to be moving. So practicing yoga can lead to overall better quality of life for people. And I do need to say that if you have concerns or questions about what you can be doing, you should consult your care team before you do anything that you maybe haven't done before or that you might feel is a little outside of your scope. Just make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Now, one of the beautiful aspects of yoga is that there are a variety of styles that you can choose from. A slow, gentle practice is a great way to support your body. It's going to allow you to stretch your muscles. You can move slowly between the poses. You can settle into the poses in a way that feels good for you. And a gentle practice is going to give you the chance to connect with your breath, which we'll talk about in a minute. Gentle yoga, or as I like to call it, low and slow yoga, yin yoga, which gets you into poses and has you stay in them for a few minutes, and my all-time favorite, restorative yoga, which is a deep practice that allows you to settle into very gentle and supported poses. These three practices are my favorites. They are my favorites to recommend to my clients. Each of these has different benefits, but all are supportive of the body and can help with quality of life. And as well, as I mentioned, we have this immune system issue going on where you may feel like you don't want to be around other people, or you may feel like, every time you go for a treatment, there's the question of, are your white blood cells up? Can you have a treatment? We want to be really nurturing our immune system to help support the body because the immune system is already in a compromised state. So it's important that we bolster it as much as possible so that we can move through the treatment, so that we can go out in public and visit friends a little bit more, so that we can feel good and strong as we possibly can. So movement, in this case, through yoga, is a really good way to support your immune system. So what yoga can do to support the immune system is reduce stress by incorporating deep breathing, meditation, relaxation techniques. These all help to lower stress levels. High stress can weaken the immune system, so by managing your stress, yoga indirectly supports your immunity. Yoga can also help you to regain range of motion. Surgical procedures leave scars inside and outside of your body, and they can limit your range of motion. So yoga is a gentle and safe way that you can enhance that range of motion and flexibility, which will support your healing and you learning how to move in your body after procedures. Now, again, be mindful, and I'm going to speak to this in a minute, but be mindful of how your body is feeling and be mindful of your limitations. We don't want to push ourselves. You don't want to step into a place where you hurt yourself. So be really mindful of what you are doing, but don't be afraid to try things. Bone strength is a really big topic around cancer treatments. Chemotherapy, radiation, and hormone therapy can cause bone loss. Yoga can build strength and bone density and can combat bone pain that's associated with bone metastases. So exercising using resistance and weights has been shown to slow the rate of bone loss, but cancer patients who have bone metastases need to be really careful about the amount of stress that you put on your bones. If you are looking to practice, it's important that you speak to the teacher, let them know what's happening in your body so that they can guide you into careful postures or prevent you from going into poses that maybe won't be in your best interest. So you want to be just really mindful again of what you are doing, but know that you can be also supporting your bone health when you do a yoga practice. Yoga is also really good for your circulation. The poses and movements help your blood to circulate throughout your body, and better circulation means your immune cells and substances can move around efficiently, your lymphatic system can flow in your body, and this can all help to support the immune response. And these movements, as I mentioned, stimulate the lymphatic system. Your lymphatic system is responsible for moving the waste out of your body. So a well-functioning lymphatic system is going to support your immune system and help you to get rid of the harmful substances that you may be having put in your body if you're going through treatment. Yoga can enhance your respiratory function, your breathing, your lungs, through what we call pranayama, or yogic breath practices, and these can help to improve lung function and capacity. And I have to say that having had 2 lung surgeries, I know that the breath practices that I use, just very gentle, nothing too strong, nothing too powerful, just gentle breath practices, really help me to bring my lungs back into good shape. They help me to get my breath moving through my lungs, to help them to open up after they had been collapsed for the surgeries, to really get them healthy again. So just slow, gentle breath practices are really good for your respiratory system. And yoga can, in general, just boost your overall health. Regular yoga practices promote overall health and well-being in what I've said before, flexibility and strength, and even in your balance, which is something that may be thrown off if you've had surgeries or if you're feeling weak. Your balance is really important, and yoga can help with that. So when your body is in better shape, it's better set up to to fend off infections and illnesses and to get you into a place of feeling better and stronger. So I invite you to incorporate yoga into a healthy lifestyle to support yourself as you go through your life with cancer. And if you're still a little skeptical about how yoga can support you, a very cool thing to note is that there are more and more studies coming out that show that yoga and cancer can go together very nicely. There's one study that I read that showed that yoga has been used in the management of various symptoms such as fatigue, sleep disturbance, loss of appetite, chemotherapy-induced nausea and vomiting, and pain. So they are starting to look at yoga as a tool that you can use in moving through your cancer. And I've linked that study in the show notes if you want to go back and take a deeper look at it. And again, there's so many other studies out there that if you're feeling a little bit like I'm not sure, go and find some and take a look at them. They're going to just perhaps reinforce what I'm saying here today. If you are still believing that you can't do yoga because you aren't flexible, I'm here to share with you that, as we just heard, yoga movement is so good for you, but there are other aspects of yoga that you can do that aren't movement. And I still want to encourage you to give the physical stuff a try. And this is where I wanted to share with you, as I mentioned, where you can actually go to find yoga classes that are designed for people who have had cancer. There's this great program called Yoga for Cancer, and that's a number 4. And it was started by Tari Prinster. And she offers online videos for cancer survivors as well as in person in some locations. So you can learn more at yogaforcancer.com, and that's yoga for the number cancer.com. And I've linked that in the show notes for you. So in addition to movement, as we move through this idea of what is yoga and how it relates to us, is the breath, as I've talked about a little bit. It's such an integral part of the yoga practice. Your breath offers you the opportunity to observe your body in action. When you breathe in, you move into a pose, and when you breathe out, you settle into a pose. And your breath is your life force. It is what keeps you moving forward every second of every day. So we want to learn how to use that breath, not just as a tool for the practice, but as a tool to calm the mind, to control the emotions, and to help guide your movement. So the benefits of breath work, or as I've mentioned before, we call it pranayama in yoga, is that it can improve concentration. And we know that sometimes our minds go a little sideways on us when we've been going through chemotherapy or been under anesthesia. It can help with sleep. It can provide stress relief, help to cultivate feelings of calm, help with your circulation and your respiration, guide you in and out of those movements and meditation practices, and it just really brings an awareness and connection to your body and your mind. Because you can just say to yourself, breathing in and take an inhale, and breathing out and exhale, and that in itself will connect you to your breath. And all of this leads very nicely into my second point, which is about the mind. This is where mindfulness practices and stress management can support you when you use yoga as a tool and a strategy. So apart from the physical benefits of yoga that I've already shared, that reduction in stress hormones, nervous system regulation, activating the relaxation response, and improved parasympathetic or rest and digest function are known to reduce your stress and instill a greater control over situations. So yoga, in effect, can help you to get out of fight or flight and into a state of calm where you can navigate what is going on in your life. And this is so useful for cancer patients who may see cancer as a threat or as a state of fear, and who may be stuck in this thought loop of what is happening, what's going to happen, fear of the future, fear of the present, uncertainty around tests. Your breath and your mindset can really help you to navigate these situations. And it's been found that relaxation response that comes from participating in yoga will improve your overall quality of life. I cannot say that enough. It will improve your overall quality of life just by bringing more mindfulness and less stress into your life. So if you practice yoga, you may start to notice your stress going down. Again, I don't have to tell you that a cancer diagnosis, living with cancer, cancer treatments and tests, all of these things create stress. Yoga helps reduce stress levels because of the relaxation techniques that come with it, like the breath and the meditation. You might find yourself sleeping better. Many cancer patients struggle with sleep, as I've already mentioned, because of side effects and anxiety. And yoga is going to help to promote better sleep quality by allowing you to calm the mind and relax the body. And it's also going to help with alleviating pain associated with treatments or surgeries because you become more aware of your body. This is the mindfulness connection, is you become more aware of your body and you can see and feel what's happening, and it can help you to manage what you are noticing and any pain that may be coming up. And I know that I've personally used breathing and mindfulness techniques post-surgery to help me to manage pain and the overwhelm of what has just happened. Or maybe you found yourself dealing with overwhelming emotions or even depression as a result of your diagnosis. This is so normal. But this again is where yoga can help because it promotes relaxation. It releases endorphins that are going to help to calm you down, to improve your mood and your overall well-being. I think, are you hearing what I'm saying here? This yoga stuff really works. I am a living testimony to how practicing yoga, bringing yoga into your life can really help support you. And finally, yoga encourages self-acceptance. And as I said, body awareness, and this can help you to feel more positive about your body and help to improve your self-esteem. I know this is hard. But there are things that you can do, and learning how to move gently in your body and learning how to be mindful are two of those three things that you can work on. The third is your spirit. Your spirit is who you are. Nobody can take that away from you. Cancer cannot take away who you are on the inside. Yoga can help you to reconnect to yourself if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling like you don't know who you are anymore. It can help you to connect through movement and breath. And having that deeper self-connection can help you to be more in tune with what you need and be more self-aware. So through the practice of yoga, you explore your inner landscape, the thoughts, the emotions, the sensations that arise during the practice. When you slow down in a practice, you start to notice this inside piece of yourself. And this self-inquiry fosters self-awareness and can lead to insights into your true nature beyond the physical body. You can reconnect and relearn who you are. You might find pieces of yourself that you had tucked away or that you are wanting to reclaim in your life, or maybe you find a new purpose or connection to yourself that can take you in a completely different direction. I never thought I would take yoga teacher training. If you've heard my story, you'll know that yoga has changed my life, and it has changed the direction of my life. What I learned in my training allowed me to learn more about myself, to see that there was another way to live with cancer, a calmer way, a way that has brought me to today where I'm recording this podcast and where I'm a cancer coach. Yoga has gone from being a physical practice for me to being a lifestyle and a way of managing my own life with cancer. You may even find a spiritual connection within yourself. Many forms of yoga are grounded in spiritual philosophies that offer guidance on living a more conscious and meaningful life. By studying and reflecting on these teachings, you can deepen your understanding of yourself, your place in the world, and nurture yourself in your spiritual growth. So whatever you may have thought yoga is, I just want to offer that this is a great time in your life. An opportunity you may never have had or taken to see yoga in a different light. A cancer diagnosis changes you, whether you want it to or not. For me, I've become a more gentle version of myself, more compassionate, more empathetic, more aware of what I put in my body and why. Because of 6 surgeries and chemotherapy, I need to move my body. I breathe deeper and slower. I can navigate tests and news better, and I love myself and give myself so much more grace than I used to. These are tools that I have integrated into my life and that I really believe make the cancer process so much easier. And that's why I wanted to share them with you in this episode. Having support and knowing that you can do this is key to navigating a cancer diagnosis. A lot of what I've talked about today is part of my signature Living to Thrive program. It's a 6-month program that includes 3 modules that are based on the body, mind, and spirit. You have full access to audios, videos, and downloadable PDFs and content that I've created to support you as you move from just surviving day to day into living a thriving life. And in the program, you also get access to twice-a-month live calls where we gather as a community of women to talk about a relevant topic, and you can get coached on a topic or concern that you want to talk about. And you get my guided approach to the program, including my 5-step Cancer Thriver success path. I wish that I had had a community of cancer thrivers when I was going through my process. That's why I created Living to Thrive. I would love to have you as part of the community. You can learn more about my program at katherinewhite.coach/my offers, and I am linking that for you in the show notes. I hope you learned a lot today. I hope that you are feeling a little bit more flexible in your thoughts around yoga and that you may just give it a try. I'll see you next time.